It is packed. It's made out of cedar fence board, and you can use used ones or new ones. And it's a Purple Martin condo. There's, I think 10 boxes on that one, some of them had 9. And his boxes in City Park in New Orleans have been up for 25 years. Every year I get a call from the president of the Control Line Airplane Club in City Park, where the boxes are at in the corner, and they holler, "Mr. Mike, the birds are back, and they're kicking out the sparrows and the lizards." And as much as the bats eat all of the bugs, Purple Martins tear them up on the starling, whatever you want to call them. We're going to put one board on the front.
Cuties.
Great.
How cute that is.
He said he can get them off Amazon.
Oh, adorable.
If you build one like this and you put it up on the house or wherever you put it, get a little piece of sheet metal or a tin can, cut it open, make it, and put a metal top on it. Keep the squirrels from chewing on it, and it'll make the wood last a whole lot longer. I think you've got a box.
Sweet. Woo!
Actually, this one, if you've seen it, had the grooves already cut in it. That's sufficient for them to hold on to. But look at this one here at the bottom. It's still got this type of screen in it.
Oh, okay.
Just regular screen door stuff.
Sweet.
Same stuff you use around your windows and your doors. This is fiberglass embedded vinyl. And it has this one's been in here for 25 years. So it'll stood, but they get to hang on to it. But you'll notice in this box, put your fingers right here, it's designed for these bats that he was talking about here, the 3 bats, the small ones that stay local. When you get, this plan came off of the Texas Bat Conservancy website 25 years ago. And we built about a dozen of these. It shows a design for a little crack in here. But this gap in here, there's a little piece of wood. This is the size that the bat can squeeze through. Not all the bats, just the ones that like to live like this. And it's important to have that. This has got a little bit wider open, but it's to keep the varmints out. The bats can smash down and squeeze in, but the snakes and the squirrels don't care about them. They just like to chew everything up. But there's but there's rats and other things will go and attack them. But I've seen squirrels do that.
How many bats would
I have everybody's got a 4x4.
For my exact question. A little bit louder.
How many bats can live in one?
Whenever you put one of these up, you can make it. This is just an example. I just took it. Make sure you got an excluder on the bottom. Usually I have these on 16-foot poles, 4 foot in the ground. We can put 2 of them on there. I don't like to put 4. I can stack them and put 4. But if you got 4 of them, the guano from the bats is dripping onto the box of the other one. It's okay if you got enough, a little roof hard on it and you want to drop it off that way, you can put 4 of them on there, 2 on each side. But anybody can make this. You don't have to be with this aluminum foil, any sheet metal or whatever. But make sure you got some kind of excluder to keep the varmints from crawling up. I've seen the snakes up at scout camp crawl around these things looking in the birdhouses that we had up at Scout Reservation. And the snakes will crawl up there. They won't get up there if they've got an excluder on. So if you're putting them in your yard, make some kind of excluder that'll keep them out. And then put these up, at least if you use a 16-foot pole, keep them 4 foot in the ground. Just, that'll keep them from falling over. All the ones I have for Katrina, that they all survived, except the ones that the bulldozers pushed down, thank you FEMA, because they were destroying trees to fill up dumpsters.
So you get 16-foot pole, 4 feet in the ground, 12 feet up?
Yeah. And my son's pole's still there with 3 of those Purple Martin condos on it. If anybody wants to see how those mount, come and talk to me, you know. Anybody can make that. That's 4 pieces of, not treated lumber, it's just cedar fence poles. You buy at Home Depot or lumber, 84 lumber or something. You can use recyclables. This one came recycled boards we got from one of the boys' grandfather's house. He redid all of the fence boards for his grandpa. And when he saw my boxes, he asked if he could build something like them. So he restored 2 of my son's boxes, and he built 3 more to put on the one he stuck at City Park. All recycled material. It's still there. The birds are in them, not all the time. It's whenever they migrate and they stay in here, and they eat a ton of bugs. But you don't have to be fancy. You were talking about the gray color. You know, this will turn gray, just like the fence boards around your house. That's fine. That's better for it. And they get to know the last ones we put in. Well, not my last ones, but the ones we put in 10 years ago. I put 4 boxes like this. 2 by the airplane circles, 2 on the hiking trail. And 6 days after we installed the boxes, the ranger was calling me and saying, "Mr. Mike, they got bats in the boxes." You know, sometimes they might take years to find that nest. But they found it because we had some there, but there's plenty of those little bats, and I forget which ones I figured out was off of here that were in there. But I've seen them on the ground before at the park. There's lots of bats in City Park in New Orleans, but and they got plenty of trees, but they don't always have the right habitat to hide it. But yeah. If you don't see them in 6 days, don't get upset. You know, just keep plugging away. And y'all all saw this. Somebody else saw this one at Bayou Combe at the Fish and Wildlife Refuge. This has been there over 30 years. They have another one that was officially, I guess it was just starting to rot out. They replaced it with this one, but it was massive. It was a good 8 feet wide, and it went up at an angle, because as you see these boxes, you gotta have a little pad for them to land on. Well, they were stacked here, next one here. They're just like steps going up, and that's what you see on that one. Plus there's still plenty on the bottom that's flat around the bottom. They figured out how to take advantage of them. There's over 30 slots in here. And then they got a compartment of a board down the middle. So there's lots of nesting capability. I think we estimated over 1,000 bats capable of being in this one because of the size of it. And they're there all the time.
Does it have to be that 1 inch to 1.5?
It depends on the batch you're trying to facilitate and your predator level around it. If you do a good job of keeping something like that on there, you know, and just check them. This one's way off the ground. Doesn't look like it from this picture, but it's way off the ground. It's over 10 feet off the ground. And they just fall right out of it, take off. But I'm gonna, you know, I didn't know about the mortality, how they've been declining, because I've been putting these up since before that fungus was an issue. But it's a shame that it's like that. So I want to put as many up as possible, but this is a Band-Aid on a shotgun wound, if you hear what I'm saying. That one, I'd rather have 1,000, if I only had a 2-acre piece of property, I want one with 1,000 bats on it.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna take care of me and my neighbor. This one here, this can make you feel warm and fuzzy because you're helping them out and you might have a few bats. But they need company. They need more places to you know. Besides, if I'm looking for a bat girl, you know, I want more to pick from. If you hear what I'm saying, if you got one of my sister-in-law's is a big bird nut, and they've got 7 acres, and she's got 40 feeders around, and let's just say we have a freezer full of squirrels because of it, but she gets 24 different types of birds coming through her yard every summer, and she hand feeds the hummingbirds. They come and they land on her hand and eat. But she's been doing it a long time, but she's got lots of bird feeders. And don't even think about shooting one of her birds.
What direction should they face?
Don't give them direct, I mean, give them a little bit of shade, but you don't want them close to trees where the squirrels can jump on. Because, I mean, we got every trick over on Ramona's birdhouse. We've got every kind of excluders and stuff. If a flying squirrel can get to it, they can get to it, and they knock all the seeds down for the stupid ones that can't fly. But give them some shade, but also I think it's more important to give them a little bit of wind protection, especially from the north side. Because it gets cold. I mean, I had a foot of snow on my bench in the front yard in January, you know, but just to give them some protection. South of the lake here, south of, I live in Metairie, south of Lake Pontchartrain, it's freezing on the North Shore, and we're still 35 degrees, you know, so it's here or there. Most of these bats are pretty tough. But I would give them not extreme heat, and then protect them from the cold. If they're gonna stay here all year, I'd protect them from, you know, you see this one's close to a tree line, and that tree line's on the north side. And so it gives them a little bit of wind protection in the winter. But if you got 1,000 bats in there, I'm sure they generate their own heat.
Yeah.
But keep it clean around the base, because I gotta go back all the time and whack back the vines and stuff growing up, because we don't mow back around with the ones I have at the park. They got too many mulch piles in front of them. So we just try to just keep it down, but otherwise the vines and stuff will grow, especially a Virginia creeper. It'll grow and cover the whole thing, and then I gotta get out there with the machete and the ladder and clean it up.
What about lawnmowers and stuff like that? 'Cause I
You
mean,
can lawnmower, I mean, if
right,
you,
but like, does it freak the bats out?
no. No. And they probably don't even hear it, because they're not even talking to each other, they just sleep. If it's in the daytime, they haul around, they touch, and they're fine. I don't think that's ever gonna bother them. But if you just put one on the side of your house, you might never get a bat in. But put it down in a good space, put more than one. How many of you guys got a full woodworking garage? All right. Go score you lots of used plywood and, you know, build one of these. Impress your neighbors with how many fly in and out of that thing at night. You know, that's what it's for, yeah.
For the predator prevention, I've seen a lot of people use.
Wait a minute. I'm retired artillery, I gotta tune it up. What's that?
For the predator prevention, I've seen people use slinkies on the bird houses. Would it also work for the bat houses if you put on poles
You can,
to keep the squirrels off?
squirrels are tough, you know? Yeah. I mean, the only time they're not tough is when they get into the wire that hooks on the transformer behind the house. You know, then they turn into toast. But otherwise, they fall on the ground and get right back up. We had, my neighbor and I, we had a pear tree that the power line went through, and they would go down, grab the juiciest pear, and pull it off, and try to go back up the line, drop it, turn around, and go back again. So we didn't have to go harvest the pears, that we just go pick them up off the ground. That's squirrels. That's another issue I don't even think, you know. They're good to eat, that's all I can say.
Be good gumbo.
But, yeah.
You said that snakes could go up to 4 foot.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Can they climb vertical if there's,
No, they wrap around.
okay, so
They wrap around.
if we had a shed and a little bluebird house, it wouldn't have been able to come up.
I've seen them climb steel pipes, and I've seen them climb these 4x4s. I've seen them climb 6x6s.
Okay, but they need
Just
to
already
go
cut,
around.
just like these. If it's big enough, a black snake, they're out there looking for the birds, for the eggs, for the
The
baby birds, and they're looking for anything else, and they know what's in these boxes, and they'll investigate all of it. But I'm just saying, if you got a problem with snakes around your house, put a good excluders on them. Yes.
When you're building, like you've shown us what to use as far as screen or netting, how is that, is it better or worse versus the kind of townhouses that have the slits inside versus a screen of sorts?
You know, this thing was made in a factory, putting those slits in there. They could, if this was just rough cut and just like this rough sawn like this,
Yeah.
they could hang on that. If you're using recycled wood and it's sawed, rough cut sawed, you're probably fine. But I just like to put this screen, like that big roll I showed you. This is 25 years old, and it's still good.
So it's not necessarily one's necessarily better than the other?
The only ones I don't use any metal.
Yeah, no metal, but-
No copper screen, no aluminum screen especially, and even stainless steel, I don't wanna waste the money on stainless steel. But this other screen, it lasts on your screen doors on your window screens for years. You know, it's covered from the sun, they don't tear it up too bad. They just need something to be able to grab onto. Yeah, you can, if you wanna get a good miter tool, and they probably have some, guys have them already, and you wanna make these little cuts in there, that's fine. You know, this is easier. And I would never build any with this pine. I find that sometimes it cracks. The cedar seems to work. I mean, this stuff was 25 years old when I took it down and you chopped it up and put it on this one. So that's 50 years of wood exposed to the weather. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
We got umbrellas on my patio when they're closed, bats would get in.
Oh, yeah, in a heartbeat.
And I put out bat houses before, and they don't go into.
It might be the size of the bat. They gotta be able, the bats he's talking about, the ones we have here, you see the size of the gap?
Yeah.
You know, okay, that was the gap that was recommended when we took the plan off the internet, and it said that, leave that space, and so we mitered it, figured out what it was. And like I said, we had, not this box, but the ones we put up 10 years ago, in 6 days, it had bats in it. But we had bats around in the park in that area, but they're surviving in the trees and places. Now, it's in Texas. I actually stopped on the way to Colorado for an elk hunt, and I kept telling my sons about the overpasses in Texas. They have them that designed for a specific size of the bats, and when they build the overpasses, the beams that support it has the grooves inside, and it's rough, it's just cement. It keeps the same temperature all the time. It keeps them cooler in the daytime, you know, a little bit of heat in them at night, but they're not even in there. And I don't know how many thousands of overpasses they have in Texas, but the highway department there has been on board with them forever. You know, and so when they build an overpass, it's designed with the bats in mind, and they hang out in there. And there's lots of rural areas that these overpasses out in the middle of nowhere, but it's easier to cross in traffic. And so since they got them there, they put them up. So next time you go through Texas and on one of them long drives, if you stop at one of those, if you see one of those overpasses, just stop and see if they got grooves in them. And you know, they're real big in Texas about protecting those bats because that's their agriculture. And I asked in the beginning, any rice farmers here? No? No crawfish farmers? Because I thought that's what this was geared towards, this seminar, you know. But if you're just a residential bat lover, just put up more than one. Put up as many as you can, and make them part of your yard. It can't hurt.
How do you keep wasps out of the houses?
You don't.
Get them in the burn houses?
You don't. You know how you keep wasps out of it? Get bats in it. The bats won't let the wasp in. I've had wasps in these things, mud daubers, you know, it just depends. When the starlings come, they kick everything out. They kick out the sparrows, they kick out the lizards, they kick out the wasp. You know, it's not a big deal. But I've installed a lot of duck boxes in City Park. Actually, I guess 3 times over 36 years, we put duck boxes. Replace the ones we put. And we have to put excluders on the duck box. Because they know when the wood ducks are in there. And the raccoons will swim out to the duck boxes and climb up that 4x4 post that's in the water. So we have to learn how to put some excluders on.
Would metal post be better?
With what?
Metal post instead of the wooden post, or no?
No. You talking about a pipe?
Yeah.
I'm a scout leader, okay? I have access to drill columns. I got a boat and a bunch of canoes. The logistics to put a metal pipe in there, in the lagoons, and then be able, I'd have to go weld a patch or something to it. These were just, I put screws, lag bolts right through the boxes and then into the wood. But yeah, metal would be great if you put it in your yard, but then you turn it into a lightning pole too. Stick with the trees, 4x4. I think it'll be better. Anybody else? That's it. Y'all all finished your surveys?
If you do get lost in it, will that will the bats then, like, should you try to get rid of them?
What?
If you get wasps in the box, like how? do
You know
get
what,
rid
if
of
it
them?
annoys you, get rid of them.
Okay,
You want the best solution to get rid of wasps, and it won't hurt the bats, or won't hurt the birds, or won't hurt anything. A tablespoon of Dawn liquid in a hose-in feeder, fill the rest of it with water, shake it real good, hit the wasp with it. It's faster than hornet spray. It's more effective than hornet spray. Hornet spray just makes you mad, you know. But soapy water, I've had landscape business for many years. Before I'll start taking care of somebody's landscape, I treat the whole yard with the Dawn liquid, and it kills a lot of bugs and fungus and everything else. And if there's something in the bushes that you trim boxwoods or azaleas or something, I don't waste any time. I go after them with the soapy water, and it doesn't hurt the plants at all. So it's all biodegradable, but it knocks the wasp flat. I mean, and I've killed wasp nests with at least 200 live wasps, and maybe a couple of hundred in the water. Yeah.
I might have missed it, like, the bluebird houses, I put them on the top of, like, my 8-foot wooden fence, and got bluebirds.
I have one on each side, and then I'll put the third one attached to these. So this will, the 4x4 will be here to here, and then there'll be a little gap, and then the third box right here. And I never had a problem with them coming off.
Is there shells in it?
Yes, oh no, that's what you use, recycled material, you just cut up. If you got a board that's got 2 foot of it rotten, you just cut off the rotten spots, and we use those and use the chop saw and make them just the exact size of the little inside. A couple of finish nails to put them in, and they're fine. Yeah, just recycled wood. You don't have to put nothing in them, the birds take care of them. But that's JP's Purple Martin condo. And
Finish nailers with.
they've been around for 25 years.
Waterproof glue with the finish nailer?
I use the waterproof glue. You can use Gorilla, or sometimes I just use the regular Elmer's wood glue. It's not toxic. I've tasted it all. Got it in my eyes and my eyebrows. You just peel it out. Any other questions? Doc's still here. You got any genetic questions? No? Well, I'm gonna put the latch on the back of this thing to hang it on the wall. But I don't know who's gonna win this one, but you gotta fill out your survey. Appreciate it. I'll be here all day. Yeah.
Lord.
Hey guys, thank you so much for coming today. This is wow, this speaker too. I don't need to yell. The first event that we've had like this, so we appreciate your participation and staying. Here is a list of all the winners. We have. Did you put it on the timer?
No.
Alright.
We've got 2 pages, so.
Yeah, we have 2 pages of the 46 people who won. The very lucky person is Cherie Gerald, though, because she won a Bat House and Jeeves book.
Woohoo!